Hello there. Good evening, everyone. This is Dari on WorldStreams Radio. Thank you to our listeners from all around the world for joining us tonight. To learn more about WorldStreams Radio, visit our website, worldstreams.org. You can also find us now on Facebook at facebook.com/WorldStreams. Tonight we have two guests from the Hummingbird Review. The Hummingbird Review is a literary journal that presents fine writing by publishing both new writers and established literary figures. It also promotes cross-cultural writing in all forms. Saeed Leglid, host of WorldStreams, has an essay in the most recent issue about Moroccan Amazigh culture and poetry. And tonight we have the editor and the publisher of the Hummingbird Review here with us. Charles Redner, the publisher and executive editor of the Hummingbird Review, and Robert Yelling, the editor. We'll be learning more about Charles and Robert and the Hummingbird Review this evening. And Saeed tells me that we'll be having a surprise guest or two. Hi there, Saeed. Hello and welcome, Charles and Robert. It's an honor and pleasure to have you with us tonight.
Well, hello, Dari. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. And good evening to you, Charlie Redner.
Hi,
and
Saeed.
Robert Euling, thank you for being with us tonight. And the surprise guest that we have with us, joining us tonight, is the author of Dances with Wolves, Mr. Michael Blake. So we're really very pleased to have him with us this evening, and we'll get to talk to him. Amongst all the guests that we have here, also joining us would be Maggie DeRosa after the 30-minute mark here on WorldStreams Radio. Now, between all these authors, there is a wealth of books of authorship. Combined, we have about 18 books between them. So what we will be doing throughout the program is going between talking about the Hummingbird Review, which is the reason why we have Charlie and Bob tonight, and also discussing the author's work. So, Charlie,
Yes.
would you tell us about the Hummingbird Review
Absolutely.
and how it came about, how it came into being?
Well, it's America's newest literary anthology, at least it was as of February the 14th when we launched, and we've had a second issue which came out July, August. It actually goes back to the first time I met Luis Alberto Urrea. He was a guest lecturer at a Pima County Library function that I attended in 2004. You've had Luis on your show, I believe.
Yes, we did. We had him last year, really another top-notch author.
Absolutely. Well, he became a friend. We traded information, contact information, and every Monday for about 2 years, Luis would send me an email, and he would cover all types of topics, including writing and a lot of border issues. But after 2 years, I think he got kind of tired of doing this listserv, so he opened up what he called Cabin 20. And Cabin 20 was an invitation-only blog, and it was for writers, and it was for about 75 writers that Luis had come in contact with over the years, traveling, doing his book tours, and he invited us all in, and what it was basically, is I think, predating Facebook. It was a place where we could socialize, but also, even more importantly, it was a place where we could post our writings and ask for critiques if we wanted them. So he started Cabin 20, and I joined it. Then about a year ago, he just dropped a hint that he'd like to be part of some literary journal, literary anthology, and 7 of us just put our heads together and said, well, let's see what we can do. And out of that came the Hummingbird Review.
Did you, Charlie, before that, obviously you do have an experience with producing radio and producing shows. Did you have any experience in publishing before that?
Oh, yes. I was a publisher of a business magazine in Philadelphia, and I published a real estate magazine in Tucson, Arizona. So I had publishing experience on our staff inside the Cabin 20. We had a book designer and a typographer She joined our group, and then we had people who had experience editing. Our first editor, came on board, and she had experience. So we had the makings of the staff to do it, and we just put our heads together and say, let's see what we can do.
So you put together two editions of the Hummingbird Review so far, and
right.
The third is on the way. Now I'm going to ask Bob, who put the second together, to tell us about the process.
Right. We work with both new authors and established authors, and the whole point of that is to basically present some new writing by some of the top authors and poets in the nation, but at the same time to give people, young people especially, with really sharp voices that haven't necessarily been read or heard, the chance to be published alongside some of these bigger literary figures. So we basically do a kind of a quiet call for submissions with between poets and essayists and lyricists and short fiction authors around the country, and then we always try to get one or two people that really stand out. For instance, in the second issue, I found out from some friends that Michael Shreve of Santana, the original drummer for Santana, who's a Facebook friend of mine, had written a series exchanged letters with his son Sam last year during the 40th anniversary of Woodstock. And the whole interesting thing about that is that Sam Shreve is also he's a singer-songwriter, but last year when Woodstock anniversary happened, he was almost precisely the same age as Michael was when he played Woodstock. So they had this letter exchange, and I got wind of it, and we ended up putting it in the second issue, and along with Michael Blake's piece, which I think we'll hear later, the piece by the Shreves has just been tremendously received. It's a really wonderful series of letters that turn out that are of literary quality, and it just was father and son writing to each other about love and music and just this neat little thing that came together with the anniversary of Woodstock last year.
So, Bob, yourself, you're not new to this type of publishing. You've done this in some of the books that you've edited. Tell us about your experience here.
Sure, I've been an editor in basically all forms of media: newspaper, magazine, books, both fiction and nonfiction, websites, etc. I've been in the business for about 35 years. However, one of my dreams was to edit a literary anthology. It's something I've been involved with many literary anthologies, and I've been brought in as an editor for special issues and things like that, but not an ongoing thing where we really have complete carte blanche to pick and choose who we want to be in and so forth. And so when Charlie asked me to be the editor, it was a dream come true. It's really something I've always wanted to do because I have published 4 poetry collections, and poetry's always been near and dear to me. And so to be the editor of this was really a dream come true. And as long as I've been at this business, there aren't too many dreams left to come true. So it was really great to get that honor to be the editor.
Yes, Charlie.
Yes, Said.
In today's very tough climate of publishing, tell us about the ups and downs of publishing literary reviews, such as the Hummingbird Review.
First of all, I'd like to add to what Bob just said. Don't forget that we had 75 writers in Cabin 20. Most, like myself, had never been published, and one of our goals was to have as many as possible, and we accepted from almost anybody that wanted to. There was like 75 of us at the beginning, and we had all these writers, and as I said, most of them unpublished, and we wanted to give them voice. And that was a way that I felt we, as the committee, were giving back to Luis all that he has given us. It was a way of paying back him for giving us the courtesies of having the blog. But as far as the financial side of the Hummingbird Review and the business side, we paid no attention to it. We just started out with an idea. We wanted to create something. We wanted it to be an anthology, and we just wanted to create this, and there was no consideration for what it would cost or how it would end up in the end. We started out, we thought it was going to be an e-zine, meaning an e-magazine, and all we would do was take the submissions and put them up on the Internet. But then we decided, well, let's see what ink on paper would look like. Well, what makes me so excited is that it got everybody else excited, so that we produced this ink on paper version, a printed version. And we don't know where we're going with it as far as a business model is concerned, because we did this